What is happening, everybody? Welcome back to this updated new player guide for Age of Darkness Final Stand. Thank you for all the love that we had in the previous one. Obviously got some feedback on that and how to improve it, and I've also played the game significantly more since then, so just want to give a better update for what new players need to do, sort of the general flow, what you need to start. So less waffle, let's get into it. So again, survival, and my main point still stands from the last one. Please start, if this is your first time, on easy. Get to know the grips of the combat in here, and then slowly but surely move up to veteran. I can now get to the point where I can survive 2 death days in veteran, but not into horrific yet. But yeah, start on easy just to learn the mechanics and work your way up. We carry on. Obviously early access and all of that good stuff. We only have access to Edwin, and I now understand what these abilities are. So the first one is your sword. That is your sort of melee attack power, so how hard is he going to hit. Next one is his attack speed. How often is he going to swing his sword to do the damage? Next one is his range. As I said, I think he does cleave damage, but just, you know, how many units does he start hitting it? Next we have with his move speed. Pretty important, the move speed, I find, getting from one point to the other. But yep, 3.3 in his move speed. Then onto his armor, and then ultimately onto his plus 10 vision. Vision is the sort of how much of the fog of war that he will sort of clear for you as you progress through. Really, really important to scout out new areas. Obviously, as new heroes come on, these are significantly going to change, and I expect like a range person to have more vision and stuff, and that's where the game's probably going to tweak. A couple of other things. So enlighten, you get emboldening. From what I understand and what I've seen from my own gameplay, emboldening makes them sort of immune to, I think, horror. Also gives them bonus attack and armor. They just survive longer, and your units hit harder. Inflame puts obviously his fire in his weapon. It will just rinse through all of the sort of base minions pretty quickly. And then crack fire is amazing. That will literally just fire out a load of fire and will just literally kill, again, basic minions and do significant damage to sort of the higher tier sort of enemies. So yep, that's the basics. And then we'll get into the gameplay. I'll cut over to sort of what I've got set up ready just to go through this exploratory video. So I'll see you there. Okay, so join me in a game. I'm on day 3 already, and as you see, my next death night is in 2 days, and I've got 3.5 minutes till nightfall. So again, this up here is your day cycle. The red dots here are how many days or nights you survived, and obviously I need 4 to get to the death night where there's the hordes come flying out at you. Down here is your UI, so if I click on my keep, you get that. Again, as per the previous one, please get used to what these hotkeys are. So if you want to go to population, please push, you know, get used to QQ to place a lodge, sort of W to get into the sort of defenses is really, really useful. And the others is sort of, I don't need to do, but especially when you're building walls, having access to, you know, Q and just keep pushing Q to do the walls and stuff is really, it's just a time saver for that. First thing, as you can see, is I've explored some of the area. If I double tap, come on, where is it? On one, I've grouped up my hero and the 2 base warriors that you get. And what I'd recommend is you do this as well. So you click on one, click control, and you can select the others as per my other video, and you get your little group, push control 1, and that's set as your 1. And there we go, push 1, and then they are. The other one that I highly recommend doing is pushing, I have it on number 2, you can have it on, you know, 8 if you really fancy it at the other end for more non-combat ones, but it's just having access to the keep wherever I am. So if I'm down here exploring, I can push 2, get access to the keep, and if I wanted to put a lodge down here, I could. So yeah, access to them pretty quick. You can do it. Obviously, spacebar is your friend. It keeps you paused as well. So if you don't want to do that and you want to be a bit more systematic as you're going through, push spacebar, get the pause, and that's really, really good. So what you do once you've grouped up, what I tend to do is then go through and just try and get a scout of the area. So, you know, I started here, I came down here, got to this part and went, okay, what's here? And there's enemies that you're going to fight. And one of the things you need to do early on is get your hero leveled. So he's nearly up to level 3. At level 3, I get access to the inflame ability. At level 2, we get the enlightened. So as it says there, nearby units are granted an increase to emboldening. Getting into emboldening, more health, more damage. And from what I can understand, I haven't seen it anywhere, that they're immune to horror as well, and become horror is a very late death day thing that comes on. So yeah, go around, do some scouting, and what are you scouting for? Ideally, what you're scouting for is, for me, ore, or stone in this case. So you've got stone here, and I also scouted up another one here. So I went out a little bit this way, couldn't find anything. I went, oh, there's multiple paths that came here. So I went up, looped round, saw this here, thought, oh, is this a sort of pinch point? And then noticed that it looped back round. So I've put down a tower here just because there's a couple of enemies coming. And I've also got my lumber yard here. So just a bit of protection to that during sort of the night cycle. The nights aren't as bad. It's the death nights that are the ones that are the problem. I'm still vulnerable to come in from here and here. But as you can see, as I come up this way, I don't know what's here, and potentially they'll loop in there. And if they do, that makes it nice and easy. But I've got a sort of a quarry quite out in the sticks. So I've put up just a tower. So if they start to attack that, you know, it will get defended by the tower. So that's what you're doing for scouting. Going out, initially looking for the stone, because you need stone to sort of start to unlock areas. And ideally what I tend to place is try and get 2 quarries down and then 2 lumber yards down. And as you can see here, I've got max here at the moment, but I'm earning 21 stone for this, and wood, I'm earning 28 wood. Good resources. Why is that important, you may ask, Paul? First thing you should be looking for, and you go out doing the scouting, leveling up your heroes, is for me, you need to get the training hall up as soon as possible. Training hall is where you train all your units, and off the start you get access to the soldier and the archer. Archers are really good for are the ones you want for the towers. So I want to get access to archers as quickly as possible so I can start putting down towers as a base defense for normal day-night cycles. Especially at this early stage of the game, night cycles aren't that bad. So 1 tower here, it's never going to get sort of overdone. But ideally, you do want to have 2 archers in there just for sort of, you know, attack speed. It fires out 2 arrows instead of 1. But again, that's sort of your premise for that. So how do you get to that? Again, you've got your keep. I tend to place my homes just around the keep for a bit, purely because you can, you know, it's a bit more of a defense into the keep. So if your keep is completely and utterly surrounded, they have to clear other things before they can get to the keep. A little bit more defense, but homes are important. So there's the balance between homes and obviously your food. So I've got 1 food hut here. I had to place 1 here just because at the time I was running out of food and hadn't explored out here. So I just placed 1 here. Not ideal, but I'll probably be placing 1 around here somewhere. So balance your people and your food just to get to enough to get, no, not the wood workshop hall, that comes next. The training hall, so you needed 450 gold and your 35 wood and 20 stone. So you're looking at the, you know, max resources, hence why I'm asking or saying you should get 2 lumbers, 2 stones. It just helps speed that place up. Once you've got that, again, I will be beginning to start to train archers. Don't go ballistic like I have, because I misplayed, and I always like to try and keep 1 villager available. So I need to put down another home. Let's just do that now while we're thinking about it. So I've got another home down that's coming. I've got 2 coming, but I want more because I've only got 1 here, 1 here. So I want a few more archers, but always try and leave yourself 1 where possible, and just keep an eye on that food rations, because we're going to need to start putting down food. And as you can see at the moment, I don't have much gold. I don't have much wood. So my resources at the moment are struggling, and I can't put down the food hut. 1 tick over and I can get that once the house is done. But just be a bit mindful, you know, don't let these get down too low before you start to do things. Once the training hall is done, the next thing you want to work on is the wood workshop, which is like your research lab. Again, you need your 10 people, 40 wood, 400 gold. So a lot of wood, a lot of gold, and 10 people is quite significant at this stage. But that gets you access to your research. And what I'd recommend at this stage is researching your brace tower. You can upgrade your towers into more, and you can get your 3 archers in there. And ultimately, having this unlocks the ballista tower, which is great for sort of that defense. And if you're playing on, say, veteran, you only get 3 days before the first death day. And you really, ideally, I'm aiming for, when I play on veteran, I'm aiming to have a ballista tower ready to place when I know which way the horde's coming, because they do significant sort of help for that first death day. So, yep, I'm going to cut the video here, and then we'll sort of move on to sort of the next stage of development for new players. Okay, quick thing on is I've just literally paused the game. This has just been built. So, again, we're looking at what it is. And, yeah, so a couple of things that we are looking for right now is I want to also talk about the fire scon. One of probably the most underrated pieces of building that you can place down. Not only does it remove the horror status, it also extends the range, and especially when you get onto the next one as well, you get even more range. What do I mean by range is, at the moment I've expanded all of this place, and when the death day comes, you see this blackness here, is there will become a green aura that comes round, and where it's black is where it will be. And not only do you then, you can't see this stuff here, and if you walk through it, you'll get damaged. There's a potential that enemies will just drop. And I could get some enemies that will just drop here, even though they could be behind enemy lines, because I've got walls and everywhere. Because it's dark, you could get enemies dropping here. And I've had it on a playthrough where, similarly like to here, I've had a load of enemies drop. I haven't had a tower here. And the nights come, and then they've just gone in and started to rip through my towards my keep. So yeah, just be a bit mindful that where you see black here, the fire scon is really, really good. Or sconce, I can't pronounce that word. But I've gone, I say, just an update. I've literally moved down here, up here. I've seen some more ore, which I'm interested in. And I'm just pushing up here to see, what connects around here. And also of a note, this piece here, you cannot walk through. So even though it looks like where it's fallen down rubble, it's exactly the same as having a high-rise piece here. So again, really, really good. I can build some stuff here without fear of coming across. Okay, next thing to know is, now I've got the gold for it, I can show it a bit better, is I need the braced keep. So you'll ask, what is the braced keep? It's the keep. And again, the first time I played through this, I didn't have a clue. Braced keep is the upgrade to your keep. So if you come here, I need 50 gold, 50 wood, and 450 gold. Plus I need 5 grain. So I'm just going to let that tick over. It's going to max out my wood. It's going to max out my gold. Probably. Yep, it's going to max out my gold. But then I'm going to literally, next thing to do is upgrade the keep to then get access to sort of the second tier here, because I need, again, as I said, brace tower into ballista tower as a priority. Okay, next mini update is, you saw me sort of pushing up here, and I will come and get that ore in a minute, but I found this iron. And so what I've done here is, my character's on level 3, I think he was on level 3 anyway, but his inflame is up and ready if I need it. But this is the next sort of priority that you need. I'm not going to get a lot out of this, probably 6. I would hazard a guess. 4, even worse. But 4 is better than nothing. So I found some iron. I'm going to start farming iron, because you're going to need iron for later on things. There we go. For a refined quarry, for instance, which gives you 25% extra materials from that. So instead of 4, I would get 5. It needs iron. So iron is the next sort of resource that you want. Again, I built up building a tower, which is just completed. And I've got an archer on her way round. So I can now actually move her into there. And I can't build another one because I don't have any gold. But yeah, again, found another one to there. And that's not what I wanted to do.
Buildings are under attack.
So yeah, he's stuck around the corner, which is pleasant. Excellent. That is what you don't want to happen. That's why I should have been here paying a bit more attention. And again, and this is why I need my archer to be there, because that wouldn't have happened. Again, and if you take your eyes from the prize quite heavily, then yeah, that's what happens even on this level. So let's rebuild that. Letting my guy go, and if I now put an inflame on, I should be able to just start to rip through these pretty easily. I've got a base is under attack. Excellent, Paul. So let's start to do that again. Because I haven't pushed up here, I don't know how they've got in, to be perfectly honest. But let's just move back here. Oh my god. This is, yeah, again, eyes from the prize pool. Eyes from the prize. My dude will be okay, but yeah, this is what happens.
The keep is under attack.
So what I should be doing here is building another tower. And yeah, that's what happens in the game. I'm really glad that's happened, actually, because, again, I haven't really paid attention too much. I've got a tower under attack.
I stand prepared.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens very, very quickly if you're not careful. So I now need to recuperate. And, yeah. I now need some more grain, which I will... Decent, 11. Let's just do 11 there. Yeah. I will cut you at the sort of next thing I want to show you. Okay, next sort of thing I want to talk about is when to begin doing the upgrade skill tree. And for me, let's put it on pause, Paul, because that's always useful. For me, it's at the time when you're starting to need max sort of damage. Not the max resources, I mean damage, Paul, idiot. And you just sat there for a bit, and that's the point where I start to go, yes, I'm going to need to start doing some upgrades. I've got some resources that I can pump in, and by the time I need to build something, it's already back, type of thing. So there's a couple of things you can do. Increase damage by 25%, or increase your vision by 25%. Are pretty good. You've also got an increase in emboldening. I don't think that's really great. This is obviously under the range skill tree. I've never had an issue, especially on the levels that I'm playing at, getting that emboldening up on my troops, to the point I've actually just lost the troop because I've pushed a bit too much over here, which we'll come on to shortly. And I'm not sure if it's just me, but I have some issues of selecting the melee straight off the bat. But 25% chance to ignore horror. Again, I haven't really had too much issues with horror on the levels of difficulty that I play at. Attack speed is good, and health regain is good, but I would tend to probably push up a little bit higher. And for me, attack speed is really, really good. So I'm going to do an attack speed there. And obviously it's got the resources, so that's wood and stone, and wood and stone. And as you see there, the next level is 250. We're going to need some storehouses, but that's a lot later. So yeah, that's the time when I start to think about sort of the skills. I could come in, and AoE range is good for some later troops, and I believe that, from my experience, that also can work on our heroes' Z ability, Crackfire, as well. So we're gonna do that, because why not? And while we're here, let me just push T to get rid of that. Is you eventually will get points of interest coming in, and you can get points of interest, you can get nightmares, and all of that good stuff. And what I attempted to start to do was to build a tower here with some archers to come in and help do some cover fire. Yeah, it didn't quite work out that well, and we're just researching that, I believe. Yeah. So yeah, I'll cut once I've got better. I lost a unit, so I want to train up another couple of warriors and just bring them in there. But yeah, we'll cut to that when we're ready to showcase the points of interest. Okay, a couple of things have happened since I last spoke, and that is daybreak has come, and with that daybreak, we've got our first Death Knight. As we see on the map here, this is where the Death Knight is going to spawn, and it's right by a point of interest, which is really, really good. So with that, they're going to spawn and come across from west of the map through to the east of the map. So potentially here or here or here could be their point of coming in. But the first thing I want to think about, as I mentioned before about death days, is these shadows. Don't like them. They make me nervous. I don't have the resources at the moment because I've just spent my stone on an upgrade skill tree. But they're still fine. In one tick I will get a fire scone. And what I will probably do is potentially place one around here, so there's no gap in between. Because units will get in there. Yeah, I'm not going to be worrying too much about this east side of my keep. It's all now focused on how can we defend from the hordes. And it's likely to come in from here. Maybe in here I will loop round and just expand out here a bit. and then probably come and explore down here. But first off, what I'm going to do is, because I'm going to need resources to do all that, is these are a really good point. This is a point of interest. It's really good resource gatherer. My tower's on its way. I've got my sort of heroes there. I'm not going to. I'm going to train some archers now, and just archers. I would prefer to have. Probably could get a couple, but yeah, because of just resources, I'm going to have to go one archer, a couple of soldiers because they are good for the front line, and let's get in. And I'll cut to just taking this down before we explore out. We've got 4 minutes to play with, so still plenty of time. Okay, so my tower is now built, and yeah, we need to. Let's get on that because of my shortcuts for my pausing and stuff. We want to clear this out as much as possible. We've got my tower built, so that gives me a bit of protection. And what I find is a good tactic is to lure them into the range here. Let's put on this because I'm going to need it. And I'm about to use my other unit, I think, if I'm not careful. So grab them, come back. It will force them out. Come back. Just let the archers take him down. And with that, you know, the guy is nearly dead, but you get some health over time. And that's all I'll do is now just literally sit there. And obviously, if I had this ability done, that'd be great. I was going to pause because you don't need to see me all that time. But I am a bit nervous still about this death day. So I'm probably going to, you know, I've wasted a minute now just dealing with this. So I'm going to hold this. This is fine. This will take this on. And I now need to prepare for the death day. I've got things are coming up, Max. So what I could do, I've now got the braced tower, is I need to think about where am I going to place my defenses. Is it going to come here? Because this would be a great point. If they came up here, I could just put a braced tower here. And yeah, they're just going to try and come through here. But more than likely, I would guess they're going to come here. So I need to do a bit of scouting before I do that. I've got only three people left, and that's not enough for me. I've got 9 food rations, so that's fine. So let's build another house. Let's get that up. I've got some troops available, and I'm going to need them to come over here. What I'm also going to do, we showcased another one, is you can rally where they're going to go. So any new people that I train are going to come over here. I'm going to get a couple of soldiers and another soldier, a couple of archers, purely because archers, again, I can put into these towers, which are great. Resource wise, I'm looking okay. I need that house. I probably will get another house actually, so I can build ballista towers a little bit better. As I say, I tend to try and just put them around the keep. Try and make sure you can, at the moment, to get out here, I can come around the top here or around. I have done it before where I've blocked in so no one can walk, which isn't great. But yeah, I'll get ready for some preparations and then we'll cut to the next part. Okay, so the Death Knight has just about started, and as you see here, as I talked about the piece here, what I forgot to do, so I'm an idiot, was try to place a scone in. Hopefully that will survive, but it's under attack. Probably won't survive it, and I've got archers coming through, and they will take damage through there. So again, Paul, you didn't follow your own advice because you're an idiot. But as I said, you know, where there's darkness, this stuff comes, and where this stuff comes, enemies could just be left behind. We've also got debuffs that come. The players killed during the nightmare has a 10% chance to be reanimated by the darkness. Yeah, so if any of my units are dead, then they're going to struggle. I have put a double one here because if this gets taken down, I can fall back, and I'm going to start building my defenses once I've got the 30 stone around here. If I see the skull starts to move down, I'm in trouble, and I'm going to have to try and get all my units back to here, and we can defend in this pinch point here quite easily. But the next stage is key, just watching where that mask goes, and I think it's going to come at me. And there we go, there's that scone, and there's the horror which is coming on. Look, and there we go, there's a enemy there. But yeah, so they're coming here, so let's try and get our ballista down. And while we're here, we're going to have to do some retro sort of defenses. The first one isn't so bad. First Death Knight is only 94 enemies, and here they come. So come in, put our flame sword on, and now literally hold them off. This is, you know, it's not difficult, this one. With a blister coming here, that will help us take this resource place as well. Keep an eye on your troops and just bring them back. And then go back in again.
Defenses are under attack.
It's fine. The units are going to die. That is just unfortunately what it is. Now this is open. Yeah. Big AoE splash damage. And let's just bring them back. Push a repair all. We've got 18 to kill. We're good. We're good. Get our health units back up a bit. So, and because this is done, they can come around the side. And there we go. Daybreak approaches. We're all good. We're all good. And now we get to choose a blessing. So new buildings cost 50% less resources is really good. All construction times are 15% faster is probably what I'm going to go for. All units gain 25% emboldenment at the start of each day. Can be good. Can be good. I'm going to go for construction times are faster because when you get down to that sort of death day, you're having to start to build a lot. And especially if you're panicking and you need to panic, put some defenses up because maybe the hordes come a different direction. Construction times faster, for me, is more important at this moment in time than new buildings. I'm generally at max most of the time at this early stage. So I'm going to go for the motivated layman. All construction times are 15% faster. Okay, a couple of things to note after that death day, death night is I've gone through another sort of cycle that's going through, but I've taken down this point of interest and got some resources. Yeah, and sort of I'm happy that I can. This side is okay. So what I've done is I've got my troops heading back, and as I say, all I did is just farmed. So you go into them and you just farm back. So you just pull enemies back to your defenses. Really, really easy to do. They need to go actually into the tower, which I have gotten to do, which is great. And so the next phase for me is one is to push down here just to see, you know, these are quite close to the base. So I want to push out there. Also want to start pushing out what's up here and what's up here, because if they're dead ends, then that's a good place to put like housing and whatnot. And I've started to put some scones around just to keep the lights on and not have a repeat where this was blocked off. I can now get from one side of my base to the other without real issues. So yeah, I will cut when I move on to the next significant update for you. Things like I just need to do the lodge, and then that's done, and we can sell the wood workshop, and then start to upgrade some pieces. So yeah, I'll see you guys shortly. Okay, I mentioned earlier on about resources getting maxed. You're going to need storehouses, and I'm sat here just doing some more exploration. I need to start saving up for, well, I want to get the refined workshop, which needs 1,000 gold, which I could get. I could, you know, save that up, but things like the wood is starting to become a problem. You know, as we come into sort of these things, they're going to need more wood. So I need to start thinking about a storehouse. And because I'm feeling quite safe here and here, granted there's one enemy here which I can deal with shortly, I'm going to drop a storehouse down. And do I have any units free? No, I do not. If not, I would have just gone and got a unit to take him out. So I'll quickly do that. Yeah, so that's storehouses. Again, it's just them gut feeling of, can I expend them resources? Do I need to? I've just come out of a night, so I've got, you know, a few days or a few minutes, I should say, spare. Resources are going up at a good rate. So yeah, it's time to sort of expand and, you know, work on things like storehouses and stuff. Ultimately, what I'm actually currently gunning for the next thing for me is the refined workshop. Refined workshop will give me access to the Arbalist and the Sentinel, which are really, really good units. And also I need to start working towards the Grand Ballista. That's really, really good. Grand Bellow unit, really, really good for defenses, and start to prep for harder Death Knights, because the next one is going to be harder. The one after that is going to be harder and harder and harder. So we need to start setting up defenses within defenses. So you have your outer defense, don't rely on that. Have, you know, inner defenses all the way around as much as possible. But I'm going to concentrate on also building up some available villages as well. Okay, next significant update for you is that yeah, we've got noble. Obviously our champion now has this crackfire, but I've done a bit more exploration, and as you can see here, I've got a nice border around here where no enemies can come. So if I put a fire light down, say here, once that's done, yeah, I've got some glitched enemies in woods as well, by the way, so that's going to be fine there. We'll probably do that. I've also got a quarry, which is good, so let's put that up. So it makes sort of this area a really good area for housing and farms and everything, because they're safe. And I don't really need to worry too much about defending it. I'm going to keep a defense here as a secondary for here. And again, because they'll just run straight down into my keep here if they attack from there. But I don't really need to worry too much over here. So this is where I'm going to start putting housing, food, stuff out of the way, because as you'll play the game, as Death Knights come through, you'll they'll just rampage and just do the path of least resistance and will devour everything. So they'll take out this farm, they'll come through, take this out, they'll take this out, they'll take my housing out before they hit the keep. So if my housing and food is out of the way, it's less problems when buildings start to get destroyed, and I can still start to train stuff, because you'll lose people, you lose grain, and you can't build up stuff. So just important note, once you find stuff like this, shovel your housing out that way and your grains and everything, because really, really important. More housing, because if you're struggling and you need people in here, as you see, these guys don't require grain, just need people. So don't ever get into negative people, because I've had that happen to me before. Okay, one of the last sort of things that I think is really important for people to know is I've now got up to the point where I've got the refined workshop. Obviously, we had this workshop. Just don't need that anymore. So there's nothing in here that you need to keep. You can just get rid of that if you need to. This one, for instance, though, you do need to keep. And I am researching the Grand Bellow Tower that shoots out some fireballs and stuff. Other things that are really good, refined farm and house, really good. It's just improvements on what you've already got. And literally, you're going to need the forge at some point, and a refined quarry at some point. They're really, really good. But yeah, got the Grand Bellow Tower coming. And yeah, we'll probably just go into the fortified gate walls and all of that good stuff. If I go into the keep defense, obviously I need to find the Grand Ballista Tower, which is in the forge. So yeah, we're going to push up to the forge. Other sort of updates as well is, as I've done some exploration again, each map is different. I've come down here, we've got another area that's blocked off, and good. And again, I've got another one here. I have just put a tower, just starting to do some secondary defenses. And notice that this is a pinch point that I could potentially exploit. Coming up to the top, again, similar things I've started to build up. Got a nice fortification here, because at some point I want to take on this nightmare, which will probably be my last sort of tip on how to deal with nightmares. And I say, coming down again this way, all nicely blocked off and cordoned off. I've got a really nice map. So the other sort of places I could be exploited is here, and obviously we've got this bit down here as well in here. So if something comes from the bottom here, it's likely to come up through here. If it's going to come from, say, here, you know, it's potentially going to either come in from that side or that side. So you just need to be careful. So I'm going to start to reinforce here, because you just need to, at this stage, just start to look at where is your weak points in your base. If, you know, a horde was to come in from this way, can I defend it? Do I have enough between me and my keep? The keep is what you need to do. So at the moment, if it comes in from here, I've got like 2 towers. So we've got a death day coming shortly, and I'll find out in 40 seconds where that is, and build up adequately from there. Starting to get low on food and people, so again, just need to keep that balance going.